And so he drove me out back there, and we're looking at it, and he's like, "Oh shit." I'm like, "What's the matter?" He goes, "Do you have your thermometer with me?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course. That goes with me and wherever I go." So we jack it into this pile, and the fucking shit's at like 185. I'm like, "Dude, this is gonna go fucking off."
Yeah.
I go, "This is 10 years old," and he goes, "Oh fuck, I totally forgot about this." I'm like, "Whoa, what?" He goes, "They were doing a movie shoot out here, and they made us push all the, we had these windrows. They pushed all the windrows into one giant pile, and I forgot about it." So he runs back to the truck. He gets on the fucking radiator. He goes, "Okay, all hands on deck. I need every loader from that facility out here right now, breaking this down into fucking windrows before it ignites." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So here it is, 10 years old GOM. All you got to do is stack it back up and it goes off again.
Jeez.
Right. So how do you even deal with that shit? That's where I started with, like, all right, this is going to be a lot harder of a project than I anticipated. So I started going, all right, I'm going to play with chemistry, because obviously I can't add more carbon. It's just not, no matter how much fucking carbon I add, it's not going to be enough. And I don't have a clean source of carbon because everything is gone. There is no like browns pile and greens pile. It's just
right.
all. So I started playing around with quicklime, spent lenadite fines, some different rock dusts, and I blended the GOM with these materials, and I ended up finding a formula to arrest the thermophilic process. The only problem was that in dealing with these powders, it was difficult to blend them evenly.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I built this little like conveyor belt with another conveyor belt, so the powders came on and dumped on the conveyor belt that had the GOM, and then that went up and then piled itself on top of itself. And it works pretty good, but the only problem was when the wind blew, I ended up looking like a fucking Smurf. I mean, just covered with fucking stone dust and fucking quicklime.
Okay, yeah. I gotta jump on and laugh at that one, Mr. Smurf. Yeah.
The white Smurf, man. Those guys laughed at me like a fucking crazy man. But it worked. So the concept is that there is a way to do this. The only problem is that the powers in B generally only look at this stuff as, a waste product, like they're diversion. Get rid of it. They don't care about like how to make it more beneficial, because let's face it, in those circumstances, and I'm sure you had the same one, is these guys water the fuck out of that GOM. And so what happens is the center core is thermophilic. So the water just runs down the outside edge and then soaks in on the bottom. And the whole place smells like ammonia the whole time. And then when they turn it and they hit that anaerobic layer, it's just like, oh, the fucking methane, the smell is just fucking brutal. So all of that is gassed off. All that nitrogen is gassed off in a volatile organic compound instead of being stored in the actual matrix itself. So I just wanted to share that with you, because if you do find a medium scale composter that is interested in trying to prevent that that VOC from happening, this is a way to do it. And I don't know about you, but how many times I was told you can't add lime to compost, you're gonna fuck it up. Has anyone ever told you that?
Not in that way, but yeah, I mean, I've heard plenty of people say they shouldn't add lime to compost, but I don't necessarily agree. I mean, I'm not saying I add it, but I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah, so I was told repeatedly by a bunch of different people, whatever you do, don't add lime to compost. You're gonna turn the whole thing anaerobic. Well, I had the exact opposite effect, and this goes back to when we were kids. Well, I'm a lot older than you are, but back when I was a kid, camping sites, you had an outhouse, right? And so you went in the outhouse in the morning, you did your business,
right?
But always a can of lime, and
sprinkle it.
Yeah, scoop some lime and sprinkle it over the top to eradicate the odor. And so that went back to my mind when I was trying to deal with this. And I was like, holy fuck, that will get rid of the odor. So that means I'm not volatilizing those organic compounds, because that's what the odor is the volatilization process of those compounds. And so that's a little trick that I wanted to share with you, and hopefully you can take advantage of it. Yeah, the spent lenadite chips worked extremely well in creating texture. The rock dust was obviously added minerals and nutrients to the compost, so that as the bacteria went from thermophilic to mesophilic, which basically happened in the introduction, now they could start mining those minerals and those nutrients. And I basically turned GOM, which was a 0.0103 into a I think it was a 3.5 3.54243 organic fertilizer. Dude, I made an organic fertilizer out of GOM.
Yeah.
And the only problem that the company had was the bulk density. They're like, oh, that won't work for us. I'm like, what do you mean? I just turned your shit into a fucking organic fertilizer. I just spun fucking gold from your lead. What do you mean that doesn't work? And they're like,
They
oh,
thought it
well,
was too heavy or what?
well, yeah. He said that, well, yeah, now we're going to roll up with one of our 18 wheelers, and the truck's only going to be 3/4 full instead of full. And the farmer's going to complain because he thinks we're ripping him off. And I'm like, you have absolutely the wrong attitude toward this. When those farmers put this on their orchards and they see their trees explode with growth, they're going to want more of it. They're not going to complain that they got less. They're going to be like, damn, you're charging me the same amount of money for something that's 10 times better than what you were selling me.
Yeah.
The corporate dogma is just beyond me. I mean, hello, lead to fucking gold and you don't want it. You think that that's a waste of time. So anyway, I know that trick will be in good hands with you behind it. The formulation, again, it'll depend on the GOM that you're playing with as to how much of each of these to use.